Good evening. I would like to welcome everyone to the Town of Lexington Council meeting. The council meeting is being held at Town Hall on Monday evening, July 6, 2026, and is being broadcast live on the town's YouTube channel. I am Hazel Livingston, the mayor for the Town of Lexington. I would like to introduce my fellow council members. To my left is Council Member Ron Williams.
Good evening.
To his left is Council Member Todd Lyle.
Good evening.
To his left is Council Member Jenny Michaels.
Good evening.
To my right is Mayor Pro Tem Todd Carnes.
Good evening.
To his right is Council Member Gavin Smith.
Good evening.
And to his right is Council Member Will Allen.
Good evening.
Our invocation tonight will be led by Lexington Police Department Chaplain Michael McCormick. Would you come forward and lead us?
May we pray?
Yes.
Almighty God, you rule over the nations and every community by your wise and sovereign hand. We all should confess that apart from you, we have neither the wisdom nor the strength to govern rightly. So we thank you for your presence among us. I thank you for the men and women who faithfully serve this town each day, whose quiet labor helps preserve order, safety, and the well-being of our neighbors. I pray you would please grant this council humble hearts and clear minds and a steadfast love for justice and truth. May every decision made here serve the genuine good of this community, restrain what's harmful, encourage what's good, and ultimately point to the greatness of your wisdom and grace. I pray and ask all these things through Jesus Christ, my Lord. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. The pledge will be led by retired USAF Technical Sergeant Alan Reynolds. Would you please join us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will you tell us a little bit about you?
Well, I grew up in Lexington County. I joined the South Carolina Air National Guard at the ripe age of 28, married with 2 kids because I really wanted to participate in our nation's and also our state's military. Worked full-time out of McIntyre for about 3 years as a state employee, and then 9/11 came along and we saw active duty until retirement. I would just like to take this time to thank you for always inviting our VFW to come up here and do this. We count it as an honor and a privilege, and I would like to take this time to remind everyone, normally our commanders and our leadership at the VFW are made up of individuals who have retired from the military, but currently our past commander, his term just ended June 30th, has been downrange with McIntyre since February. Also, his son is deployed with him. So, unlike during 9/11 time up till 2010, you kind of knew when you were coming home. These guys haven't been given a date when they're coming home, so please remember them. He just finished his 2nd term as our commander. He has been up here and led pledge before. Senior Master Sergeant Darren Wiseman, and we have others from McIntyre that are part of our post as well. But we always try to honor our veterans, and especially the ones from Lexington County, and we always appreciate you guys asking us to come up here and do this. It's never a problem.
Thank you, and thank you so much for being here tonight. We appreciate you very much.
Thanks, sir. Thank you.
I will now call the council meeting to order. Are there any deletions from tonight's agenda? Our executive session report and ratification. Council met in executive session prior to this meeting. Matters discussed in executive discussion was permitted by SC Code 30-4-70A, were 2 routine personnel matters, discussion of 2 potential property acquisition, and informational update on 14 Mile Creek Gravity Trunk Project. No vote was taken. Do I hear a motion to ratify this report?
So moved.
Councilman Williams makes the motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Councilman Michaels seconds it. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, raise your right hand. And it is unanimous. In your packet is approval of minutes from May the 4th, 2026 and June 1st, 2026. Do I hear a motion to approve these minutes?
So moved.
Mayor Pro Tem makes the motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Councilman Williams seconds it. Is there any discussion on these? Hearing none, all those in favor, raise your right hand. And it is unanimous. This time, I would like to do a proclamation recognizing the town's parks department during National Parks Month. You want to come forward, Scott? Whereas the town of Lexington's parks, trails, and outdoor spaces enhance the quality of life by providing opportunities for recreation, wellness, and community connection while creating places where families create memories, neighbors connect, and the community comes together. And whereas the dedicated employees of the Town of Lexington Parks Department work year-round to maintain, enhance these valued community assets, preserve the town's natural beauty, and provide safe, welcoming spaces for everyone to enjoy. And whereas the Town of Lexington recognizes that quality parks and recreational opportunities strengthen our community and contribute to making Lexington an exceptional place to live, work, and visit. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the Mayor and Town Council of the Town of Lexington, South Carolina, that July 26 is hereby proclaimed National Parks and Recreation Month in the Town of Lexington, and all residents and visitors are encouraged to enjoy Lexington's parks, trails, and outdoor spaces while recognizing the outstanding service and dedication of the Town of Lexington Parks Department. Scott, we appreciate you and all that you and your staff do.
Thank y'all also for support.
Thank you, Michael, for putting that great video together. Next up, we have a short vision plan update. Last month, the town held the first vision plan refresh workshop. It consisted of meetings with the Vision Plan Advisory Committee, stakeholder focus groups, community input session, and planning team work sessions. The purpose of the workshop was to gather feedback from residents, community stakeholders, partner organizations, and staff regarding the community's long-term vision, priorities, opportunities, and challenges. There were about 100 participants who weighed in person, which is in addition to the online survey that is still active. You still have the opportunity to give us feedback. Look for an announcement of another public meeting coming up in August, and you can always go to lexsc.gov to take the survey through the end of next month. And at this time, Mayor Pro Tem Carnes will have our traffic update.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Utility contractors are scheduled to perform water line repair work at the intersection of Columbia Avenue and Burley Street on Tuesday, July 7th. A lane closure will be in effect, and delays in this area can be expected. Also, please exercise caution when traveling in construction areas. We encourage you to follow the Town of Lexington social media outlets for traffic alerts and updates. And please call us at 803-358-7273 to report any traffic signal issues, unsafe roadway conditions, or pothole that needs immediate repair.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Next up, we'll move into our new business items for tonight, starting with approval of cross-connection control program presented by Councilmember Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. The cross-connection control program helps protect the public's drinking water system and by preventing contaminants from entering the water supply through the backflows. Adoption of the program is necessary to comply with the federal and state drinking water regulations, South Carolina Department of Environmental Services requirements, and applicable plumbing codes. The proposed cross-connection control program included in the agenda packet establishes the town's requirements and procedures for protecting the public water system. We do have an attachment showing some things that they were wanting us to do with this. So this will be a first reading. I'll make a motion for first reading approval.
Councilman Williams makes the motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Mayor Pro Tem seconds. Is there any discussion on this?
Yes, Madam Mayor.
Yes.
When we discussed this in work session, I thought there was like a few hanging chads that we still were going to follow up on. And was that the case? I remember having the discussion in work session.
Yes, Councilman. There was one about whether this was going to affect pools.
You right?
And the answer to that is no. And the item before you this evening is only affecting sprinkler systems, basically.
Okay.
So what our utilities director was talking about previously was just in a perfect scenario, we would encompass pools and everything else. But in what's before you, we're only looking at the sprinkler systems because those are the immediate threat. And that's what would allow us to meet the threshold that the state requires.
So the ordinance that we have written is for the bare minimum that state law requires?
If approved, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Mayor.
Yes, go ahead.
Kevin or David or Rachel, whoever could answer, has staff estimated the number of residents in town that this will impact, and do we have a figure for what that cost would be to each resident? I do remember us vaguely speaking about that, but unfortunately I didn't write it down in the last meeting, so I wanted to see if you could provide an update on that.
So, Councilman, my understanding is staff does not have an estimate of total residents, but we would address them as we find them. And the average, David, please correct me if I'm wrong, was roughly about $600 is what we have found to be the average. And what we're suggesting to do, what we're requesting to do is to go through the RFP process to have a vendor, so that way when residents come to us and they have the issue, they can work it through the vendor and pay in payments or installments, because that is a lot for a resident individually to take on, and still be able to maintain their water and get the service done, and it's approved through the town.
Okay.
So, I'm going to follow up on you on that, unless you got another one. Go ahead.
I just have one follow-up.
Okay, go ahead.
Does that answer your question, Councilman?
It does, thank you. So I want to ask one point of clarification. So the ordinance as written authorizes shutoffs for non-compliance after a notice. Before the service would be discontinued, is there an administrative appeal process that will be, I guess, stood up so that the town, if a property owner believes the town has made an error, they can go through that process before essentially it's just shut off?
So my understanding is that will go through the same accounting appeal process. So we would take those on a case by case, and those will come up through both finance and the utilities department just to verify the information. And if need be, administration will get involved only as a need basis.
Okay.
Does that answer your question, Councilman?
It does, thank you.
So, David, I have a question. I know that the inspector to inspect them each year has to be certified, but from what I understand, they do not have to be certified to install them through the state, or approved through the state.
Correct.
Because I know that when irrigation systems are installed, a lot of times that's put on there, and it's possible that they could be done less expensive than the $600, unless you're going to require them to be a certified vendor.
Potentially, but installing, then you'd have to go to a second vendor to have it tested.
But that's what, $35?
Yes, somewhere. The 35 is the best, but
Okay,
yes,
so
generally speaking.
okay, so that could be a whole lot different.
Potentially, yes.
Especially if you're talking about putting it on an irrigation system. I've just learned a little bit more about
Right,
this. That's
yep.
the reason I'm questioning. Okay, so I'm okay with moving forward with it, but I still may have a little bit more thoughts of what needs to be put in there.
Madam Mayor,
Yes,
so to follow up, just so I'm clear, residents do not have to go through the RFP process. They can go through another vendor if they can find somebody who can do it for a better cost, is what you're saying. So we are leaving it up to the resident to make the best decision for themselves as long as it's tested.
Correct.
Okay, perfect.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I would just say this is first reading. I think it would be good if we could put this back on work session just for any follow-up questions between now and second. So we had quite an extensive discussion about this, and there's probably a few more hanging questions.
Councilman, there is no work session this month unless council decides to call a work session. The next session would be August 3rd.
Okay, so it may have to go to the September to get its final reading.
So I appreciate you saying that. I'd also like to mention there are two separate items that are covering three things. This item is not an ordinance. It's a one-time council approval of a program. The next item on the agenda addresses our ordinances, two separate ordinances, and those have two readings.
Right.
So if council, the program that we're discussing now is going to be much more robust because this is going to outline how things are handled. The ordinances are not nearly as robust. So in the event that you have additional questions about the program and more of the operational side, it would be best to table it.
Okay.
You could still move forward with the first reading of the ordinance.
Okay.
Second reading would be August 3rd. To Kevin's point, we could potentially bring this program back to the August 3rd meeting if you want to provide guidance between now and then, or we could bring it back to the work session.
Mayor, I move we table this item to August 3rd.
Well, do you want to take it back to the August work session?
Need to rescind the motion first.
Because we don't have a July one.
Yes, that's fine. We don't need to pass this to meet any requirements, right?
The program, we will.
Is there a deadline that we're up against?
But this is the first reading, so it could be read
Well,
on
this
September.
is not.
I mean, it'll be one reading, so this can be read on September.
So this is just one reading, correct? So by the end of this calendar year, we need to have something.
Okay,
in
so
place.
we've got time. So we can do, take this back to the work session with it cleaned up and not just, Ron had some concerns with it just being redlined, so it's very clear to us what you're stating.
Well-
We can give our feedback too, and that can go to the work session, then we can have the one reading on that in September, which is, but make it done, correct?
No, it's two separate items.
I know, but I'm
The
talking,
item I have is not redlined, it's the item that Mr. Lyle has to.
okay. So this one, though, we can bring it back, the administrative stuff, and then have the one reading along with, if we push the other one to a second reading in September. So everything's done at the same time, as long as it's done by the end of the year, correct?
By September is the goal. We have an inspection of the water system coming up in September, and we want everything done by then.
So we can have it done by the 1st of September? Okay.
Yep.
Mayor,
Yes.
let me ask this for, well, Mr. Everson's not here. Since this is just a program, this is something that council could vote to change in September. If we pass it tonight, we could vote to change the program portion of this in September.
Correct.
So we could go ahead and pass this tonight and then vote in September to change it if we want to make changes to it.
Madam Mayor,
You can do it either
Yes.
way.
could I just ask, and I mean, we don't have Mr. Epperson here, but I'm not convinced that this even needs a council vote. This is a program. We're not codifying anything in an ordinance. So technically, this could be done at a staff level.
Historically, council has approved procedures, operational procedures such as this.
But as a technicality, technically, we don't actually have to pass this. You are technically empowered to make the decision.
But if you're going to be charging your citizen, you might want to say in that, Gavin.
I guess the point that I'm
Yes.
trying to make is technically the answer is yes. Am I correct?
I think David has something to say.
Yeah, the one caveat to that is that the law says that this program must be approved by the governing body.
Okay, all right.
So we want council approval for this program.
So I guess two things, and I'll be quiet. We technically could vote to empower Rachel to approve this, and then once we make our edits to it, she has the ability to do so. My next question, more of a question, would be, why would we not codify this in an ordinance as opposed to just creating a one-time program? Why would this not just go in the ordinance?
So the ordinance language does approve the program. The reason we're doing it this way is so that when all of a sudden the day-to-day duties change for people, when we have more residents and we change the process, we're not coming back saying, hey, can we change this? If you saw the old ordinance language, it was like, next week, in 5 days, you must do this. You're going to call this person who hasn't worked here in 15 years. And so all those changes, every time there's a single change, technically it required them to come back in front. And as we see, sometimes that doesn't happen, so.
Understood.
Yeah.
So my concern is, do they have to take our person? Or can they have someone hired? I mean, the way it's written out, do they have to use our recommendation? Or can they hire somebody and have it checked or certified?
Yes, the program doesn't actually spell that out. That was a suggestion that we put forth to try and find the best price. But we don't dictate how to do that. So I think Councilman Allen said it perfectly. If they find the best price and they obtain certification, we're good. That's what the law requires. The water system is protected. Win-win.
So under Section 2, under initial backflow testing, it says that any device that fails an annual test must be repaired or replaced. It doesn't say by who. It could be replaced by a homeowner if they so choose. But then the reporting, the test report must be turned into the town, and the new device must be retested immediately following the repair. So then they have to call somebody out to repair it. To take another test.
I think from what I've seen, that's $35 to $65 maybe.
Right.
Which is a lot less. And I'm asking all these questions because we install irrigations all the time, and we install backflows on them all the time, and we don't charge that much. So that's the reason I'm asking all these questions and wanting to make sure that we're not putting a $600 fee on our citizens that they have to do.
So Mayor, it sounds to me like we may just need to add that language, and we just need to be more explanative in our policy, our program.
I would feel better about that because a lot of people, when they have an irrigation system installed, they're going to have that backflow put on it. And I just don't want us making our citizen have a $600 bill if they don't have to have it.
Right, and that was just based on quotes that we received, so.
And I know we have to hold people accountable to protect the water, but I want to make sure we're also being fair to giving them enough time to get that done. And especially working with our senior citizens that might be on fixed incomes.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
That was one of the reasons that we had made their suggestion about trying to go through the RFP process, because if we had a contractor that could do bulk for us, that would allow those residents that may be financially challenged at that time that still have that issue to be able to pay in installments, so that way it wouldn't be such a burden on them.
And I think that's fine if we can have both, though. They can have the option as long as they're having it certified.
Yes, ma'am, that is correct.
Madam Mayor.
Yes.
So what's I think you said it, but what is the follow-up? So the follow-up is they would have to send, as soon as they had it fixed, they have to send in a letter to you or to town or somebody, and then y'all have to go back out there again or go to and check it? What is the follow-up to make sure?
all we require is that a certified backflow tester sends in the report to us.
Okay.
And once we get that report for that property, we know it's been done, it's been tested, it goes in the record keeping.
So citizens just need to ask if you're a certified backflow, not just Joe Blow that has no certification.
Right, and
Okay.
there's a list out there on the DES website which we point them to. Obviously, if we discover something like that, we're going to touch base with the homeowners. It's very easy, to everyone's point. If they want to do it and maybe they have a friend they can do it, have at it. All we really care about is that there's a backflow installed and it's tested and it's working properly. If they are kind of overwhelmed by that, we wanted to have a process where we could say, don't worry, we'll help you out on that, and we can. So we're not trying to dictate to anybody, we're just trying to have options available so that we can meet the needs of the water system and the customers.
So if you have everything approved by September the 8th, you'll be on your schedule?
Yes.
Okay.
I've already made a motion to table it till next meeting.
I think there was a motion on the floor already. It needs to be rescinded.
Correct. Yeah, I'll rescind the original motion if I need to rescind it.
Who's
You
taking
make-
minutes?
Did you make the motion or Ron?
I made the original motion.
Okay, you made it and then Todd seconded, right? Okay, so you agree with that?
Yeah, I'll rescind my second.
Okay, so we're going to make a motion to table it
I can table it.
till August work session?
Yes.
And then have it ready for September, one reading, right? Yes. Okay.
Ron
We
made a
need-
motion.
You
Yeah.
want,
I'll second it.
okay. All those in favor of tabling it till August work session is unanimous. Item number 2 is first reading amending town ordinance to implement the cross-connection control program. Councilman Lau, this one needs to be first reading, and then it can come back to work session and then get its second reading in September the 8th also. And then we'll, correct?
That's correct, Mayor.
So we need to go ahead with the first reading on this one tonight.
Well, Mayor, we could also table this because it could come to August 3rd council meeting for first reading, and then August work session, and then if we want to adopt them at the same time in September.
Madam Mayor,
Yeah.
I'm always a little suspect of us pushing first reading through just so we can amend something before second reading. I'd be in favor of withdrawing this.
You want it to come then to August?
Yeah, I would move that we withdraw item number 2 and come back to the August work session.
So if,
No, it's got to have 2 readings, Todd.
I think I was tracking.
it sounds to me like Councilman Lyle doesn't want to take action on either the program or the ordinance until we can revisit them together in their final form at the August work session. If that's the case, we would bring the program to September. The program is what needs to be in place in September. We can have first reading of the ordinance in September. Second reading of the ordinance would be October. So the program itself would be in place in September with the ordinances updated in October.
Is that going to mess your schedule up? I mean, we want you to be in compliance, so.
I think as long as I can point and say it passed first reading, then technically, it may not be approved, but it'll show that it's just one reading away, and they'd be happy with that.
Okay.
So I would say yes, I think I can make that work.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
is there, while I understand Councilmember Lyle's concern, understanding that we are trying to get this done before your inspection, you used an important word there, may. They may be okay with that. I'd like to know that they are okay with that. So I would be in favor of just giving it a first reading, understanding that we don't have to take a second action on a second reading. In fact, I'll state I won't take an action until we can discuss this at a work session, because I have a few remaining questions as well.
So we could take, Todd, I agree with Gavin that we don't want David to be in a May situation, because he needs to get this all cleared up about the water.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
let's clarify a few things, because now I feel like we're adding some urgency here. When is your deadline for whatever it is that you've got to do?
Technically, it was.
Well, I don't know why we'd be technically, like, there's a deadline or there's not. Is it a deadline?
Our inspection is September. We
September
were
what?
in violation for this last inspection.
When was that?
Previous September. So it'll be 2 years ago this September.
All right, so when I was in the Army, there was a supply clerk that had a big sign above his supply room, and I think Kevin knows where I'm going with this, but it would say, "Your failure to plan is not my emergency." So if we were aware of this last September, I'm not comfortable with just cramming it or rushing it through under the guise of a deadline. Like, it is what it is. I'm looking at the plain language of what I'm being asked to read as new business item number 2 that says, as part of the town's update to its cross-connection control program, revisions to the town code are necessary to ensure the ordinance are consistent with the newly adopted program that I think we just punched off. So if we're going to jettison that, I don't think it'd be, I'm just one person up here, but I think we should come back with a little bit better look. I still think there's too many questions.
Yeah, for the record, I was ready for this many months ago.
Well, I'm not saying you weren't.
But two, the only other thing I would offer up is that our current ordinances are inaccurate as they are. So the approval of the plan programs are always works in progress. As things change, we go to update them. I don't think it's that big a deal. I think I understand what you're looking for. To Rachel's point, putting that additional language is no skin off her back. I certainly have no issue about updating that and then having y'all look over it and say, we feel good about this, because that's what we're aiming for. As far as the actual language in the ordinance, I see your point on that too, and whichever way you want to go, we will make it work.
David, do you know the date of your inspection?
We don't, just that it's due in September.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
just so I'm clear on the timeline here, I know we don't have a work session in July. So is it possible that we could get this updated like we just discussed tonight and get that to us for the council meeting at the beginning of August for first reading?
Correct.
And then we could do second reading in September, and then we're good.
Yes.
And so the work session is where we're going over the program, the second meeting in August. Is that copacetic with everybody? That works with me.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I would agree with Councilmember Allen. I don't know why I couldn't think of your name. It's been a long day. I would agree with Councilmember Allen, and I would also say I don't think that there would be anything precluding us from having an open discussion about this at a council meeting as opposed to a work session. We could have a discussion about it at a council meeting, so I would say.
But if you're going to have a discussion, you need to send Rachel stuff and Kevin stuff and David stuff that needs to be changed ahead of time so they could have it ready for the council meeting if we're going to try to vote on it, because then you're still trying to put stuff in that's not there and you're voting on something that's not accurate.
I think that they're hearing our concerns. I mean, they could, unless, and forgive me if I'm wrong, but if anyone has other concerns, like we could speak up now and they could bring us a draft, and if it fails in August, we'll deal with that then.
Yeah, I think it would be very easy for me to update the plan. I could throw the new language in red font so it pops out. email it to you. You could look over. Anybody who has any feedback, get it back and we can tweak
Can
it.
you do that on both of them for us? And so we can be ready for the August?
Yeah, I'm not sure
meeting.
the ordinance language, that there needs to be any changes, but if there are, certainly the same thing applies.
I think we can reformat the ordinance items for
Okay.
you in conjunction with that.
So we can table this one too, and you'll have them both ready. Instead of it coming to work session, it's going to come to the council meeting, changed with everything you've heard up here. And if anybody else has any other concerns or changes, get them to y'all so they can be in the program.
Correct. And program, first reading is in August. Program is August work session for.
Well, I thought we were going, Todd wanted the program to go along with it because it reads that the program, it refers to the program.
Okay, we can do that.
So if you have stuff about the
I
program that
understand.
has not been said up here tonight,
Yes.
you're responsible for making sure Rachel has it so it can already be in the program for us to vote on. Is that clear? So do we need to vote to table this?
Yes.
Correct.
So, Todd, you make a motion to table it?
I did. I made a
Okay.
motion to withdraw this.
Second.
There's a second to table it. All those in favor, raise your right hand. And it's unanimous. We could have took these off at the beginning. Approval of a memorandum of understanding and annual school resource officer services agreement with Lexington County School District 1, Councilmember Smith.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The agreement attached in our agenda packet continues the partnership between the town of Lexington and Lexington County School District 1 for the provision of school resource officers serving during the 2026-2027 school year. The agreement outlines the responsibilities of each party, including the continued state-funded third elementary school SRO position, cost-sharing provisions should state funding no longer be available, and an addendum clarifying billing procedures related to the third SRO position. So with that said, Madam Mayor, I move that we approve the school resource officer agreement, memorandum of understanding, and the addendum, and authorize staff to execute the agreement.
Councilman Smith makes a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Mayor Pro Tem seconds it. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, raise your right hand. And it is unanimous. Number 4 is approval of the contractual agreement for information technology service, Bradshaw Consulting Services, Councilmember Michaels.
Thank you. The agreement attached in the agenda packet and continues the partnership between Town of Lexington and the Lexington County School District 1 for the provision of school resource officer. Oh, that's what we just read. Whoops. I'm looking at this going, we just said, okay, that. Y'all supposed to help me up here. Okay, sorry, I'm back on. Staff is requesting council consideration and approval of a professional services agreement with Bradshaw Consulting Services to provide geographic information systems, GIS consulting, technical support, data management, application development, and staff training services. The proposed agreement will provide the town with on-demand GIS expertise to support ongoing operational needs while enhancing internal GIS capabilities through knowledge transfer and staff development. The agreement is structured as a task-based, as-needed service contract with work not to exceed 20 hours per week. Funding for these services will be provided through the existing operational budget associated with the vacant GIS position. A copy of this agreement is in the meeting packet. I make a motion for approval for staff to enter into this agreement.
Councilman Michaels makes a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Mayor Pro Tem seconds it. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, raise your right hand. And it is unanimous. Item number 5 is first reading of the fiber optic cable franchise agreement and ordinance for Windstream Kinetic. Mayor Pro Tem Carnes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The attached ordinance and franchise agreement with Windstream Kinetic was presented to Town Council at the previous work session. The agreement will replace the town's existing limited franchise agreement with Windstream and establish consistent franchise terms for telecommunications services throughout the town. Based on the agreements previously approved for Ripple Fiber and Lumos Fiber, Madam Mayor, I make a motion for first reading approval.
Mayor Pro Tem makes a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Councilman Williams seconds it. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, raise your right hand. And it is unanimous. Well, that was quick. Y'all asked me to get y'all home in time for...
USA, let's go.
Yeah. I'm doing a good job up here.
Trump's handing out pardons, put our guys back in play.
Is there any comments from the public regarding any agenda items tonight? Make sure she heard me. Miss Paula, you got any comments? You're our public. You got any comments tonight?
Is this going to cost me $600?
No, ma'am, it should not.
Having a comment?
You should be a new enough home. You should not be, hopefully.
Do you realize that fiber optic Windstream service makes my landline phone not work if the power goes out?
No.
Actually, I believe fiber works without power. I think that's one of the keys is that it's a...
Well, I have a note from the Windstream Connect people that say you might want to check that your home phone won't work when the power goes out. And I called, and it seems that I'm right on top of the situation, and that I was upgraded to fiber optic on February 16th, 2023.
Well,
I guess the power hasn't got off, and I needed the phone since then.
You'd probably have to talk to them about that. I don't think we have control over that.
Well, you're signing an agreement with Windstream.
We're signing an agreement for them to do the right thing when it comes to tearing up your area. But if you have that service, we don't really have control over that. We'll see what we can do to help you figure that out, though. I don't, that's a new one to me, Miss Paula, okay? I've heard a lot of them with Kinetic, but that's a new one to me, but I will ask the VP.
Joyce is here.
Okay. Is there any news media? I don't think so. Staff, are there any questions or comments from y'all? Council, any comments from y'all?
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
Yes, quickly. I am excited to share that I'm bringing back my second annual coloring book like I launched last year. I have many details I'll put out this Friday to my email list and on my social media channels. But after the incredible response I had last year's edition, I've created a new, brand new book featuring many of the places, landmarks, traditions that make our town such a special place to call home. It includes several new scenes for children and families to enjoy while learning more about our community. They'll be available free of charge. I will post information about pickup locations, and you can also download it online. So I would like to thank everyone that has donated printing costs and everyone that has helped make the project possible. So on Friday this coming week, sometime that morning, I will release the information on my Facebook page. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Gavin. Next up, we'd like to take a moment. Anybody else? I'm sorry. Anybody else? Next up, we'd like to take a moment and welcome our new employees to the Town of Lexington family. Hired in May, we welcome Elizabeth and Hannah to the Police Department, Justin to the Utilities Department, and Parks, we have an intern, Matthew. And you're breaking him in right, correct, in this heat? Yep. Next, a few announcements. We wish a belated happy birthday to Councilmember Will Allen and to Administrator Rachel Gleaton. Happy birthday late to both of y'all. The next story time in the park is Tuesday, July the 21st at 10:30 at Virginia Hilton Park at the Azalea Amphitheater. We have a lot of little cool treats this time, and we appreciate everybody that gets on board and helps sponsor the reading in the park. We also have the Market at Ice House is every Saturday in July from 9 until 1. Go out and check them out. Help us figure out how to grow that and make it even better by visiting the vendors and making them want to come back. Concerts at the Ice House Amphitheater for July are Zozo, the ultimate Led Zeppelin Experience on Saturday, July the 25th at 6, and Parmalee on Friday, July the 31st at 6. Tickets are on sale now, and you go to icehouseamphitheater.com for tickets. And also, I would just like to take a moment and thank our staff, because I believe it was many departments all around Town Hall, including our administrators, that worked hard to put together our July the 3rd festivities and celebration. It was over the top. Y'all did a great job, and people loved it. There was people everywhere. I couldn't even move. There were so many people. So thank y'all. Y'all worked hard in that heat all day long, and I just appreciate everything y'all did, and I know that all of our council members up here do too. That concludes our business for this evening. Thank you for watching, and we are adjourned.